It's a nightmare. We came to Summerset to seek new opportunities. We barely stepped off the ship when they marched us to the monastery. Instead of questioning us or the usual high elf bureaucracy, they locked us in these cages. The monks gathered them a few moments ago and took them through the door on the far side of the chamber. Please, let me out of here before they take me away like the others.
Is that Scoffin?
Oh, thank you for setting me free.
A Daedra? Here? And that's a Scoffin, if I remember my Daedric recitations correctly. Very curious. An excellent question, and one I hope to find the answer to. From the evidence before us, it appears this Nord killed the Scoffin before he succumbed to his own wounds. Good for him. I found this key on the creature's belt, so we can open that door. Then I suggest we pick up the pace. We need to determine what's actually happening down here, and who's behind all this. Without answers to those questions, we won't be able to decide on our best course of action. I'll explain everything later. For now, we need to hurry.
Newcomers? Unfortunately, the magic only affects those who have been prepared. But never fear, your turn will come.
Daedric cultists? I'll deal with the pearl. You hold off these creatures. The pearl's magic attracts these creatures. Hold them off while I complete my spell. Come on, let's talk outside. Those poor people. This wasn't just about newcomers and opposing the Queen's decree. That was Daedric magic back there. I just wish we had arrived a few moments earlier. I promised to explain what I know. I suppose that now's as good a time as any. I'm a member of the Psijic Order. Our Rite Master sent me to investigate a warning we received about a plot involving Summerset. My inquiries led me here. The Sijic Order is an ancient magical monastic society. We served as advisors to the rulers of Tamriel, but that was before we removed our island home from the world. Now this threat has drawn us back. But why are you involved in all this? An Eye of the Queen? Interesting. I diffused the Daedric magic and transported the pearl to Artaeum, the Sijic island, for safekeeping and study, so we can learn more about it. But we can discuss this further once we get out of here. Being on Artaeum for a few centuries doesn't prepare you for physical activity. Let the Eye of the Queen know what we discovered, and I'll catch up with you later.
Ah, this one's new partner returns. What interesting scandal did you uncover in the monastery? Tell Raz every juicy detail. That isn't the kind of scandal Raz was hoping for. Murder, Daedric rituals, and traitorous behavior have a way of ruining an otherwise perfect day. We need to learn the extent of the Kin Lady's involvement, and by we, Raz means you. Accuse? Not exactly. Raz wants you to talk to her, see what she knows about the Old Dark. The Kin Lady is meeting with local leaders. Attend that meeting and learn the truth. This invitation and set of elegant clothes will get you through the door. A Sijik? Raz has heard rumors, but there are always rumors about the Sijiks. For an island of sages who disappeared more than 300 years ago, they certainly seem to get around. Did this Sijik mage say what the Order was investigating? There was a life-sucking pearl. You should probably have led with that bit of information. Well, we can worry about the Sijik mage and figure out where these pearls came from later. For now, go see what the Kin Lady has to say. Kin Lady Avanice and Raz do not get along. You see, there was a horse, a platter of pudding tarts, and... No. This one won't bore you with the sordid details. Besides, everyone behaves well when they see Raz. You will learn more than I would.
This manor is closed by order of the Divine Prosecution, so I'll keep this brief. Who are you, and what do you want?
Yes? And who might you be? The Kin Lady is currently engaged. She's holding a conference with Shimmerine's elite to discuss certain political matters. Yes, so you do. And may I say that your outfit is suitably elegant. Please, head into the garden.
We all have concerns regarding the Queen's decree. I assure you that I am working with all Dark Takala to safeguard the sanctity of Shimmerine and all of Summerset. Enjoy the food and drink. Business of the city requires my attention, but I shall rejoin you shortly.
How bold of you. The Neberar dares to stand in my holy presence. Very well, bold Neberar. What can the new Alldark of Shimmerine do for you? And please, try not to bore me or spray any spittle on my spotless vestments. You heard that somewhere, did you? I'll have to have a discussion with the Divine Prosecution about how lax our security has become. No, I jest. The kin lady and I have nothing but the best interests of Summerset and the newcomers in mind. You really are well informed about things here in Shimmerine, aren't you? For a Neberar. You're right, where are my manners? Using a word you couldn't possibly be expected to understand. It means unwelcome. As in, you are not welcome here. That's a serious accusation to toss around so casually. What did you say your name was again? I want to make sure to add it to the Divine Prosecution's observation log. For your own protection, you understand. I suddenly remembered some business I need to deal with as well. Feel free to pester the other guests in my absence.
How dare you barge into my home without so much as a by your leave? No, I refuse to deal with one of the Queen's guests, especially not in my own home. How did you get in here, by the way? No, never mind that. Since you found your way in, I assume you can find your way back out, before I call the guards. Oh, such innocence. You really want to know why I oppose the Queen's order to allow newcomers to enter Summerset? Because I'm trying to protect both the island and the newcomers. It's in everyone's best interest that we maintain a separation. Alldark Tilkala came highly recommended. He has grand plans for protecting Shimmerine. Grand plans. Unfortunately, in my haste to deal with the Queen's decree, I may have made an error in judgment. Not that it's any concern of yours. But my Chancellor has been unable to verify the Alldark's existence prior to when we met, and I recommended him for the position at the monastery. I assure you, Kin Lord Millenthal praised Tilkala to no end. That's preposterous! Alldark Tilkala sequesters the newcomers to ascertain their suitability for life in Summerset. Those who pass will find a place here. As for the rest, they'll be returned to wherever they came from. That's what we agreed to.
My lady, one of the monks said to deliver this message. It's from the Alldark himself.
The Coral Forest. An odd location for a meeting, but I need to hear the Alldark's explanation.
Pretend you are adjusting your boot, or admiring the architecture. As hard as it may be, look anywhere but directly at Raz. Good. Now, tell Raz what you learned at the King Lady's manor. Raz thinks Avanis is as naive as she is complicit, but she is not a murderer. This new Oldark, though, has so much blood on his hands, it looks like he's wearing red gloves. From what I could discover, he didn't exist before he came to Shimmerine. The Coral Forest? A strange meeting place. Raz thinks we should go and see what the Oldark is up to. After I take back that outfit, I might need it again later. Ah, you have a pretty admirer, my friend. The Sijic Sage, yes? Here she comes now.
I'm glad I found you. While watching the King Lady's mansion, I saw her ladyship sneak out the back and leave the city.
The King Lady is meeting the Oldark in the Coral Forest. Raz smells something, and it isn't moon sugar biscuits.
Your reputation precedes you, Eye of the Queen. I am Valserin of the Sijic Order, and I agree that the Oldark is more than a simple monk.
We should work together, yes? But let's travel separately, to avoid attracting unwanted attention. Raz will find you both at the Coral Forest.
This is what dealing with... Please, you must help. I think my cousin Brengus has been captured by werewolves. Brengus got caught up in a love affair, see? Decided to run off with some high elf named Neerlin. I was supposed to meet them in Archon's Grove, help them get off the island. But when I got there, all I saw were werewolves. Yes, I'm sure of it. I couldn't find them anywhere. I did meet a high elf named Estadel. He wouldn't tell me much, but he was definitely searching around the grove. He may know more about the situation than I do.
One of Somerset's more unique environments, the Coral Forest. I used to love coming here when I was growing up. We need to find out why the Oldark asked King Lady Avanice to meet him out here. Based on what we saw in the monastery's undercroft, I'm hesitant to use magic to locate them. I suppose we'll have to find them through mundane means. Too bad the Queen's spy isn't here yet. I understand he's good at this sort of thing.
You know nothing of the plan, you fool. Let me give you a taste of what the Prince of Bargains has in store for this pitiful world.
want no part of this. Help!
Destroy these fools!
Razumdar apprehended the Kin Lady. They're at the west edge of the Coral Forest. What happened to Uldark Tilkalar? Did he escape? I think we can conclude that Tilkalar wasn't actually an Uldark. At least, not with his connection to the Prince of Bargain's Clavicus Vial. Strange magic and creatures worry me, however. Hopefully the pearl I sent to Artaeum can tell us more. You'd be surprised what a particular object can reveal if you know how to unlock its secrets. I need to return and tell Right Master Ikesis all that transpired here. If you're willing, I'd like you to come to Artaeum and confirm my story. The Right Master leads the Sijic Order from Kapora Tower on the island of Artaeum. This spell attunes you to a portal near Shimmerine in the ruins of the Keep of 11 Forces. It always leads to Artaeum, no matter the island's current location. One more adjustment and there! You are now attuned. Find me on Artaeum after you finish with the Eye of the Queen.
Ah, Five Claw. Queen Irene will be disappointed that the King Lady of Shimmerine allowed a false Uldark to murder so many newcomers. Such a scandal makes other travelers uneasy about coming here, yes? The Prince of Bargains. That could only be Clavicus Vial. What oblivion-inspired nest of vipers has Raz stumbled into? This one has a very bad feeling about all of this. Where is the Sijic Sage? Raz would like to ask her what she thinks. The Sijic Order's interest in all of this concerns Razumdar. This one has never had much love of magic, or those that practice the art. On the other hand, now Raz has his own person on the inside. An Eye of Raz, if you will, yes? Then you must go to Artaeum and discover what the Sijics have learned. When you return, you can tell Raz all about it so he can pass it along to the Queen. Yes, Raz likes this plan. In the meantime, Raz will investigate the Daedric connection. Ah, Five Claw. The King Lady and Raz had the most illuminating conversation.
Have you come to gloat? To kick me while I wallow in my own misery? Well, go ahead. I deserve it. I met him at Kinlord Millenthal's party in Eleanor. We had similar ideas about the Queen's decree, and I recommended that he lead the monastery. Summerset isn't a stew pot, and the various races aren't ingredients to be sprinkled in like so much spice. What a hateful accusation! Tilkala told me he was going to send them back where they came from. I had no idea he planned to kill them. I give you my word. I just wanted the newcomers to go away. And to find out he worshipped Daedra? How crude. I certainly hope not. We'll have to get the Divine Prosecution in there to gather up the monks Tilkala brought with him to Shimmerine. We can't have Daedric cultists desecrating a holy site. I suppose I need to beg for mercy from the proxy queen.
And there was no sign of Lathan. I don't know whether to be grateful or concerned.
What a rare honor Valcerin bestowed upon you. Only a select few not of our order had ever walked upon this sacred island. Val tells me your aid was indispensable in uncovering the false Aldoc's plot on Summerset. Unfortunate, certainly. The magic you describe sounds familiar, though I can't quite recall where I've heard of it before. I fear the pearls may be a harbinger of the threat Sothasil warned us about. Sothasil, one of the living gods of the Dark Elf Tribunal. He's an honorary member of our order. After an attack on his clockwork city, he warned us about a Daedric threat to Summerset and Artaeum. I sent Valcerin to investigate. Indeed, but not until we finish studying the pearl Valcerin brought us. There are mysteries to unravel, and Val believes you will be instrumental to our success. We can get started immediately, unless you want to explore our island first. The next step involves a thorough examination of the strange pearl you and Valcerin recovered from beneath the Shimmerine Monastery. Hopefully, we can learn more about the false Aldark and the source of the pearl's magic. We are the Psijic Order, friend of Valcerin. There is very little we cannot accomplish through the application of the old ways. Every object remembers its history. The trick involves selecting the correct ritual to reveal those buried memories. While I head inside to begin the augury ritual, I'd like you to go to Sothasil's study in the tower, find my acolyte, Oriandra, and ask her for Sothasil's amplification elixir. We may need it if the pearl proves to be resistant to our magic.
Tranquil greetings, Caraval. You will forgive me if I seem awkward. We rarely entertain guests here on Artaeum. I am Caloris. Right Master Ichesis told me a great deal about you. I suspect he has plans for you within the Psijic Order. The Right Master holds you in high regard. That is proof enough of your worthiness. The Psijic Order requires practical wisdom, outside perspective. Unless I miss my guess, you can provide both. You would be a worthy addition to our ranks. Eager to begin? Good. Eagerness is just what we need. Your first lesson begins now. The Order has detected a number of irregularities on Tamriel. Small breaches in the fabric of time. I would like you to seal them for me. The first cluster of time breaches appeared on the Isle of Summerset. You should start there. Go speak with my apprentice, Josaja, in the Athenaeum. She will provide the tools you need, a map, Psijic seals, and the Augur of the Obscure. A noble heart and a solemn commitment to the good. Achieving membership in the Psijic Order is a serious and lasting endeavor. You must be prudent, but fearless, withdrawn, but compassionate. It is not something to be taken lightly. Too reclusive, I fear. The truth is that we have grown old, Caraval. A mixed blessing, I suppose. Long years of seclusion have allowed us to study and learn, but always at the cost of our relationship with the outside world. We need youth, vigor. As your knowledge of the old ways grows, so too will the rewards. For instance, we are prepared to teach you new and powerful spells. As in all things, the best teacher is experience. This matter of the time breaches will act as your exam. Only this. Purge yourself of selfish intent. Membership in the Psijic Order will bring you both prestige and power. But such honors often lead to Wegnithir, the bad change. What you do in the Order's name, you do for others, never yourself. The map will show you the approximate location of each time breach,
I apologize. Our visions, while powerful, are not always specific. Make your way to each X on the map, then use the Augur of the Obscure to discover the anomaly's exact location. These time breaches are not visible to mortal eyes. The Augur, however, perceives time and space very differently. Gazing through it will allow you to peer through the veil, to see things both visible and invisible. Things like these breaches. Precisely. Think of them like bandages, I suppose, or tourniquets. The chrononymics they contain will stabilize the rifts and harden the walls of time around them, rendering the breaches harmless. They are quite easy to use, I promise. I serve as the Chief Law Master here on Artaeum, a grand title for a modest pursuit, truth be told. I protect and maintain our various libraries and archives, safeguard the details of our Order's history, that sort of thing. 863 at last count, not including the Right Master's personal collection, of course. Don't trouble yourself looking for them. Many of them exist in quasi-planes and hermetic mind spheres. It helps keep things tidy. Comparatively, yes. Many of my peers spend their days examining the nature of reconstituted souls and studying Etata dream residue. Still, I love my work. It also affords me the opportunity to spend time with our initiates. Of sorts. I educate students on the importance of compassion, discipline, objectivity, and the like. Our Order's chief virtues. It can be very rewarding, provided the students take such lessons to heart. I am confident you will be such a student.
Yes, can I help you? Right. You're the Order's new initiate. I didn't expect you so soon. Things here on Artaeum are normally, you know, snailish. I transcribed our seer's visions onto the map there, and collected these Psijic seals. The Augur, however... I don't. Please don't tell the Lore Master. It tricked me into dismissing the binding charms that keep it here, in the Athenaeum. Then it popped like a bubble and vanished. It escaped before, but never on my watch. Mercifully, yes. I just scried its location. It looks like it reappeared somewhere on the shores of Wasting Coraldale. It didn't take long for some sea elves to scoop it up and squirrel it away. You'll have to steal it back. I am sorry, truly. I'm indebted. You'll definitely need the Augur on your quest. Without it, you'll never find those time breaches. The Lore Master didn't tell you? All right. How to explain it? The Augur is a skull. Sort of. It's really a crystalline entity that resembles a skull. Some think it's from the head of an ancient mage, but I don't believe that for a minute. It's hard to say. Once you have a few conversations with it, you'll see what I mean. Yes, incessantly. I think that's why Lore Master Kellerus made me its caretaker. No one else wants to listen to it. You should know that it lies constantly, unless you ask it a direct question. If you do that, it's compelled to always tell the truth. It will. Stirring up the augur's power will give you a second sight. The skull sees time differently. Well, it sees practically everything differently, but time most of all. I think it's fascinating. I just wish the little bugger wasn't so sneaky. The seals are one of the Order's oldest tools. They act as a sort of anchor, shoring up any wayward spirits or forces in a given place. When Nirn was still young, the veil was much looser, more unpredictable, you know? So the Aldmer made these. None at all. We've been refining them for thousands of years, remember? Just take one in your hand when you reach a tear, and the seal will do the rest. I am. You look surprised. Right, of course. It's not racial bias. The Psijic Order doesn't have any axes to grind. It's just a matter of circumstance. Psijic study is an Aldmeri tradition, for one thing. High Elves also live a long time and have more natural aptitude. It's a long story. I was the heiress to a crown magnifica. Our house was prosperous, well respected. When Kellerus offered to take me to Artaeum, I cast off my duties immediately and left the family's fortunes in the hands of my brother. He drove our family into shame and poverty, pretty much immediately. I try not to think about it. Let's change the subject, all right? You have lots to do and very little time to do it.
You must be the adventurer that Valcerin was going on about. Allow me to be the first to welcome you to our secret island. Oh, I suppose you already talked to the Rite Master, seeing as you're here in Kapora Tower. That strange pearl has certainly been reluctant to reveal its secrets. The Rite Master hates it when an inanimate object refuses to cooperate. Regarding the amplification elixir, I just cataloged it. It's a Sotha Seal creation, as you'd expect. What? No, not in the traditional sense. He's not one of our monks, if that's what you're asking. More like an honorary member, I guess you'd say. According to my records, the silver vial should be right over there. As soon as the pearl arrived via Valserin's transference spell, the Rite Master gathered the Conclave to prepare an augury ritual. He's been cycling sages through to keep them fresh, while slowly increasing the intensity of the ritual. I'm the Rite Master's acolyte. I have other duties to perform. Besides, such a complex ritual requires the power of the Conclave of the 11 Forces. I'm not that strong yet. Under the Rite Master's tutelage, I expect to attain that rank. One day. Despite opinions to the contrary, being an Altmer isn't a prerequisite for membership in the Psijic Order. The Rite Master noticed my potential and invited me to join. I had a year to consider the offer, but I made my decision immediately. I'm not allowed to reveal where you are, or how our magic works, other than to tell you that you have arrived upon the fabled island of the Psijic Order, Artaeum. While we're not currently part of Nirn's reality, we still keep track of events there. I could say we have our ways and leave it at that, but you deserve a better explanation. The Rite Master sends Psijics back to the world to perform tasks and gather information. Plus, we have powerful scrying magic that reveals all sorts of details. I was examining the vial of amplification elixir myself just a short time ago. It should be right over there.
Was Oriandra able to direct you to the proper elixir? Without something to amplify the magic, our ritual is going to fail. Just in time. For the next stage of the ritual, if you have no objections, I'd like you to join us. Your experiences alongside Valserin might help reveal what has so far eluded our efforts. We'll handle the magic. You pour the elixir into the scrying pool and stand close. As the ritual's power amplifies, your experiences with the Pearl and the false Aldark should help the augury do its job. We want to discover the origin of the Pearl and its strange magic. In addition, anything we can learn about the false Aldark and his connection to the Pearl would be helpful. Otherwise, we're stepping blindly into Oblivion's maw here. Pour the elixir into the pool. That should provide the final boost we need to trigger the augury.
Here we stand, the most favored servants of Clavicus Vile, Mephala, and Nocturnal, on the verge of the greatest victory for our princes.
Are you sure those creatures can be trusted?
Have no fear. Isn't that why we formed the Court of Bedlam? Besides, what happens next in Relenthiel will seal Summerset's fate.
That was unnerving. It seems the false Aldark belonged to an alliance of Daedric cultists called the Court of Bedlam. Imagine the faithful of Clavicus Vile, Mephala, and Nocturnal working together. This is more serious than I anticipated. No, but I'm hardly an expert on the Daedric cults of Tamriel. The magic I sensed in the Pearl, though, it doesn't contain the taint of Oblivion. We're missing something. But what? I suppose we'll need to find out what's going on in Relenthiel. I hoped you'd say that. Relenthiel sits to the west of Shimmerine, just across the mountains. I'll send Valcerin with you to talk to the Cannon Reeve. The false Aldark may be dead, but Mephalah's and Nocturnal's agents remain, as well as the pearls. I may not be a natural prognosticator, but I had a feeling you might. Go ahead. I'll answer what I can. From what I've experienced, an alliance isn't just unusual, it's contrary to their very nature. Oh, they'll work together from time to time, but something as complex as what Sotha Sil hinted at is unheard of. Makes me interested to learn more. Very little, I'm afraid. The last time I passed through that area was more than 350 years ago. They made an exquisite wine, as I recall, and the House of Reveries theater troupe always put on an entertaining show. The augury ritual extracted a vision of the false Aldark and the court of Bedlam, but nothing specifically about the pearl. Its magic isn't Daedric, though. How they can steal life energy and use it to summon those sea creatures remains a mystery.
Look, I apologized, and then I apologized again. What more do you want from me?
I am a kin lady of Summerset, and you dare address me as though I were one of you common rabble.
Which one could he possibly be?
Raz's investigations have brought him to Relenthiel. When this one noticed your Sijic friend slip into town, Raz figured you'd be along soon. So, what did you discover on Arteum, the island that isn't here anymore? Ugh, that made Raz's head hurt. Yes, this one has been exploring the Daedric connection as well. But Raz hates Daedra. In Raz's experience, very little good comes from dealing with Daedra or their cultists. And this revelation brings you to Relenthiel, yes? That is disturbingly vague. Why must cryptic cultists be so... cryptic? Well, Raz saw Valserin head toward Canonry Farmeldo's house. This one suggests we start our investigation of the area there.
Go inside and we'll discuss this later. And take off that ridiculous hood.
Ridiculous? I'll show you what's ridiculous. I'll show you all!
You think as Canon Reeve I'd be immune to the troublesome temper of a spoiled and rebellious child. But what distinguished visitors I have today. A wandering sage, a well-dressed Khajiit, and you. What brings such a group to Relenthiel? Investigating. For who? Well, there have been 3 reports this week of someone disappearing. And my intractable son Nadoril and his malcontent friends have been cavorting around the large sinkhole that recently appeared. What are you implying? They're just young and proud of their heritage. I wouldn't draw such a harsh conclusion without substantial evidence. I can't understand why they're fascinated with the sinkhole, but that doesn't make them criminals. It's unusual for newcomers to encroach upon Altmer affairs, especially since we rarely saw any prior to the Queen's decree. If you want to investigate, I won't try to stop you. And if anything happens, maybe it will teach my son to avoid the place.
Raz wants to ask the Canon Reeve a few more questions. Take the Sijic and go investigate the sinkhole.
I'll meet you in the sinkhole.
Don't you think you're taking things a little personally? Let's just go about our own business.
He attacked Eldon, and one of those horrible creatures tore off my hood!
That young woman was certainly in a hurry. And what was that about an Adoral and an attack? Yes, well, let's be on our guard then. I don't think this sinkhole is completely natural. Its size concerns me. If the ground continues to fall away, it could swallow all of Relenthal. It certainly feels dangerous. And if it does figure into the Court of Bedlin's plans, well, I can't think of a more frightening event than watching Relenthal get swallowed by a sinkhole. Let's proceed and find out what's going on down here. They don't look stable. I'll try to reinforce the weak spots. Catch up. creatures. Be careful. The island. I'll teleport closer to the central area and meet you there.
Someone there? Help! Please help! Crazy bastard stabbed me! God, this hurts! It was just kind of fun, joining the court of Bedlam, espousing the virtues of our Ultima heritage. But Doral, he took things too far. When we heard that they planned to release those creatures, I made the mistake of saying they were insane. Doral objected, called me unworthy. That's when he stabbed me.
The court of Bedlam will eradicate the lesser races. Maybe even deal with our unworthy queen.
Over here. Keep quiet and tell me if you see what I see. You see that, right? My eyes aren't playing tricks on me. That's a sea slode. They haven't been seen in Summerset since, well, it's been centuries at least. A vile and dangerous species. Very powerful. The sea slode come from the distant underwater kingdom of Ulvorkus. Who's that hooded figure with the slode? And look, more of those abyssal pearls. They're everywhere. The slode are a godless people. Perhaps the most hated in Tamriel. And the sea slode are even worse. They employ depraved magic and have long coveted Summerset. They believe it once belonged to them. They pillage, release plagues. They're horrible. The hooded figure could be a member of this so-called Court of Bedlam. At this point, nothing would surprise me. That slode has me worried, though. I can't think of anything worse than an alliance between those foul beasts and Daedric cultists. They could certainly have a connection to the Sea Slode's submerged kingdom, but they appear to have been placed down here. Look how the Yagra are drawn to them. I'll head for the Sea Slode. You deal with those abyssal pearls.
Master! Intruders in the cave!
Heed me, my creatures! Destroy the intruders!
That young idiot! We need to get over there.
Witness the power of Katora, the Abyssal Cabal!
This way! Up here! Damn! No sign of where the sea slow disappeared to. Damn it! I wasn't fast enough. For the time being, let's see what's through that opening. The sea slope left us something to remember it by. We need to dispatch that creature. There! I think we can get out over there.
Hurry, this way! Somehow Raz knew he'd find you here.
Sea slodes? This is worse than the Right Master imagined. Meet me in Artaeum.
Did the pretty Sijik say sea slode? No, Raz must have heard wrong. That could not have been what she said. Slode? That's bad. And sea slode? That sounds even worse. If the sea slode threatens Summerset, Queen Irene must be informed. We need to act. Wait, what did you say about the Cannon Reeve's son? Daedra worshippers. In Summerset. And Slode. Oh, Raz likes this situation less and less. As for Nedoril, Raz knows how to deal with traitors. This one will meet you at the Cannon Reeve's house.
The Eye of the Queen? How dare you accuse my son of treason? The Queen's Eye? How dare he not identify himself when he first arrived? And how dare he accuse my foolish son of something as serious as treason? The Queen shall hear of this, mark my words. Sea slode? Plus all this nonsense about Altma's superiority, and now murder? I am the Cannon Reeve of Relenthil. I took an oath to serve and protect my community. How in the Queen's name am I supposed to reconcile my son's actions? Oh, Nedoril, what have you done? Please, you must talk to the Queen's Eye. He needs to show mercy.
I'm sure we can find a way to resolve this without... Oh, here comes Nadoril now.
I have a lot to answer for? The court of Bedlam is going to turn me into a god!
Foolishness can be ignored. Murder and treason, not so much.
You and your queen have no authority over a true Ultima, you mangy cat.
This one cannot allow your crimes to stand unanswered.
Nadoril! No! No! I understand. Relenthil is loyal to the Queen.
Sometimes the eye sees treason and must cut it out before it spreads. This one is sorry you had to witness that. Blasphemy, treason, murder. How many crimes must one commit to attract the attention of the executioner's blade? Raz decided that a message had to be sent. Enemies of the Queen will not be tolerated. Treason and the Queen's justice are serious business. Raz has been forced into this role on rare occasions, but he never seeks it out or looks forward to wielding the blade. A necessary part of my job, yes. No. Raz will see to the Cannon Reeve and send word to the Queen before looking deeper into the Court of Bedlam. You should return to Artaeum and let the Siegiks know what we learned. I tell you, Five Claw, this whole situation makes Raz want to hiss.
This beast is nothing we've seen before. I can tell you that much.
Whatever could this creature be?
Ah, friend of Valcerin. I've been informed that you encountered a sea slode in a sinkhole beneath Relenthil. That bodes ill for Summerset, perhaps all of Nirn. I fear there are difficult days ahead. I'm familiar with that particular sea slode and its renegades. Call themselves the Abyssal Cabal. I thought I defeated them long ago, but it appears I was in error. What about the pearls? Valcerin mentioned you encountered more in the sinkhole. Val described those seaborne monstrosities. I have a vague recollection of Keturah utilizing such creatures in the past, but for some reason, the memories refuse to snap into focus. I suppose that's another mystery I'll need to look into. The Daedric princes require minions to carry out their will, and the Slode have always had an interest in the green and pleasant island. It isn't hard to see why they might work together. For now, you have my thanks for assisting Valcerin. I asked the Conclave of the 11 Forces to ponder how we can learn more from the Abyssal Pearl. With the additional information you provided, I expect that Iridel or Amalira will be able to develop a new avenue of investigation now. The augury ritual revealed the connection to the Court of Bedlam and pointed to trouble in Relanthiel. Now we need to determine where Keturah and the Sea Sloats are hiding. The Abyssal Pearl should be able to point us in the right direction. Meet me in the main gallery. We can consult with the rest of the Conclave and use the scrying pool to continue our probe of the Pearl. As much as this situation concerns me, I must admit, I somewhat enjoy being in the middle of the action again.
Right, Master! The Abyssal Pearl! It's gone!
Gone? How? I set the protections personally.
How could the Abyssal Pearl disappear like that? It makes no sense. A few hours ago, we left it in the scrying pool in the main gallery while the members of the Conclave of the 11 Forces went to deal with other matters of importance. When I returned, I immediately noticed that the pearl was missing. Yes, that's standard procedure when dealing with an unknown relic. But that just makes the pearl's disappearance more troubling. Something about this feels wrong. The Conclave serves as the Order's ruling body. It takes its name from the 11 forces of nature that we revere and follow as part of the old ways. The Conclave assists the Right Master with matters of study, policy, and significant research.